It is the end of summer and everyone is headed into choreography season. And I want to take a few minutes and give you my tips to get the best possible choreography experience and make sure you have routines that you love when your choreographer has left. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Cheer Biz Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Cotton, and today we are talking about choreography tips and tricks to get amazing, breathtaking routines. Now, before we get into the episode, please make sure you go on over to Facebook and you join Cheer Gym owners and All-Star Cheer coaches and owners on Facebook. Make sure you're paying attention to those groups. We have all sorts of really awesome conversations going on, as well as announcements of cool things we have going on with Next Gen, like our Cheer Biz accelerators. If you have ever wanted to learn from me in person in my gym, then now is your opportunity. In October, we are opening my doors to 20 people to come in, gym owners, primarily only gym owners coming in who want to learn more about how I run my facility and learn more about what they can do in their gym and leave with actionable strategies to grow. All right, so let's get into it. So this is choreography season. It is the end of the summer. We have all kind of dialed it in, and maybe you've already done choreography. You're getting ready to go back to school and it is time to put the routines together. I'm actually getting ready to leave tomorrow to go do a bunch of choreography around the country. And these are my number one tips and tricks to get amazing routines from your choreographer. If you do these things and you hire the right choreographer, you are likely to have an absolutely amazing experience and get the best possible routine you can from that individual. Number one is communicate. You've got to let your choreographer know ahead of time, I would say at least a week, key pieces of information so they can start preparing how they're going to build your routines. We need to know the number of athletes on the mat, the level, the score sheet that you're competing on, any like tumbling things that you have going on, like how many athletes can perform each skill, elite and advanced, what stunt skills they're able to hit consistently right now. And if you have any like visions or things like that, themes, the more information, the better. Okay. If you can give us information ahead of time, it lets us prepare. What I have even done myself is I've said, hey, I just want you to go with it. Just have fun. I trust you. I trust your vision. I hired you to be the creative. So, you do it all. And what that does is it can be cool for a choreographer to just have free reign, but now the choreographer has to guess on what is going to be something that you like. So the more information I can get from a choreography client beforehand, the better. If you've seen videos that you like, if you have routines that you like, that you want to say, hey, I really like the look and feel of this routine, or I really like this stunt sequence, or I really want to do a transition like this. All of those things are so helpful for us as choreographers, because now we're not just shooting in the dark of all of cheerleading options, but we're able to package things that you are going to love and that your kids are likely to love doing too, because they're oftentimes going to have a very similar taste to their coaches because they're used to performing routines that their coaches like. So giving us lots of information ahead of time helps us prepare. Now, there are some choreographers who don't do a lot of preparation. They go in and they like to do it very organically, where they come in and they just make up the routine based off of the athletes. I don't do that. And most choreographers I work with don't do that. We have a plan ahead of time. Now, it can vary all the way from, I know choreographers who have the whole routine pretty much built before they get there, all the way to choreographers who maybe have some X's on paper and some general ideas. I've done everything in between, minus I've never had the full routine just totally built and ready. I like to do some in the moment and see kind of what the kids are giving me. But the more we have ahead of time, the more we can prepare and the more we can make sure that we're delivering the product that you deserve. Okay, so that's number one. Communicate. Let us know what it is you're looking for so we can make sure that we deliver that. Number two is prepare your athletes and your parents for what a day of choreography looks like. Make sure your athletes understand that we are going to be changing things, that your choreographer doesn't really know you that well. And even if they've been coming to your gym for years, it's likely that they have no opinion on who you are. They're going to be putting people in spots based off of the formations, based off of just how things flow, and based off of what you show them. So if you want a great spot, if you want cute choreography, then show up and give it 100%. You're going to be more likely to be put in cool spots. If a choreographer says, hey, who has this? Be willing to show it. Be ready to do those things. Let parents know that it's going to be a long day with a lot of standing around, a lot of learning. Make sure that they pack the kids snacks and water. The kids are well rested the day before. Like all of those things to help prepare the athletes. I also highly recommend that you have your team arrive at least 30 minutes early to choreography starting so they can stretch and warm up their tumbling, warm up their stunts. So when your choreographer says, hey, can I see who can do X skill? The athletes are ready. Or when they ask to look at the jumps, the athletes are ready. I forgot to mention, but in your communication, if you have a way that you do things that you really want it done, like you really have a specific way you want your athletes to jump, then let your choreographer know ahead of time. If you have a very particular approach to your standing tumbling or your running tumbling, let your choreographer know ahead of time. It just helps us prepare and helps us be on the same page from the moment we walk in the door. On top of preparing your athletes and having them arrive early, one of the things that I would love every gym to do is make sure your athletes can do basic transitional skills and understand basic motion terminology. Meaning your athlete should know how to do a seat roll on the right side and the left. Your athlete should know how to do a forward roll. Your athletes should know how to walk clean and know what that means. Your athletes should know basic motions, high V, low V, T, all of those things. So when a choreographer is explaining it to them, they know how to do it. So all of those things will help set you up for success with your choreographer, and it will ensure you're getting the most value out of your time with the choreographer. Because what we don't want to do is waste time teaching athletes how to do a seat roll. We have more important things to teach them, and if they are prepared ahead of time, it just makes life go so much smoother. And if you think your athletes know how to do a seat roll, then check, do a quick test. Hey, I want to see everyone do a seat roll this way. I want to see everyone do a seat roll that way. It will help prepare the athletes for success. If you haven't already started and you've not taught your athletes a dance yet this season, I highly recommend you teach your athletes a couple dances so they have experience moving their bodies and dancing. And so when your choreographer says, hey, who are really good dancers, you can tell them. Number 3 is, if you can, assign a coach to be taking notes on 8 counts. Now, some choreographers do this as they go, but most don't. And if you have a coach who has an 8 count sheet up and they are taking notes throughout, it makes the choreographer's job so much smoother, because then when a count changes, I can turn to the person who's doing 8 counts and I can say, hey, what count did I say they should dip on? Because we're doing a lot in our brains. And some of us can remember it all. And some of us, like me, sometimes get a little bit discombobulated because we've changed counts a few times. And having that person who's taking notes, who's there like, it's dip on 3, up on 5, and then body position on 7. Great, thank you. That's perfect. And then you can clarify that with the athletes. It speeds things up because oftentimes the athletes and the choreographer might forget because they have a lot of things going on in their brain. So if you can assign someone to do that on your staff, that is so beneficial. And if you have coaches who are already coming to choreography and you're already paying to be there, then you may as well utilize them. And this will make your music process easier later on. Now, you may have a choreographer that says, hey, I'll send you 8 count sheets afterwards anyways. And if you do, great. But I can tell you that having done choreography both ways, it is super beneficial. I recently had this happen at a gym this summer, and it made my life so much easier, and it made choreography go so much faster. The last note I have for getting the absolute best out of your routines, and this is a balance, is if you absolutely hate something, say something. If you see something, if the choreographer puts something together and you absolutely hate it, you're like, nope, that is not me. I don't like that. Can we do something else? Let us know sooner rather than later. It's really hard when people wait until the very last day and they go, hey, so I haven't liked this opening since the very first day and I didn't say anything, but I really hated it. And then on day 2, I didn't say anything. And day 3, we've got an hour left. Can we fix that? Well, the trickle down effect of changing the opening is significant. So The earlier you say those things, the better. Ultimately, every choreographer I know wants to leave with you loving your routine. That's what we want to see. We want to see you love your routine. So if you tell us early, it helps. Now, with that said, the only thing I want you to keep in mind is if you hate something, say something. But if a choreographer says, hey, trust me for like 10 minutes. Let's see. The reason you hate it right now is they're not doing it right. Let me see if I can get it to look the way I'm imagining it, because this is a cool moment. Let the choreographer work through that, because sometimes we have really cool ideas, but they're just ideas. We don't know exactly how to execute them yet with your athletes, or your athletes are not executing the idea correctly. And so, yes, it does look really bad, but we need a little bit of time to clean it up and make it better. My last parting tip is submit everything. Yes, your choreographers should be paying attention to the score sheet. They should have a good idea of how to put together a routine that will hit the score sheet. They should have a good idea of rules. But the reality is there are a lot of rules and a lot of score sheets. So make sure you're double checking all of those things, that you're counting and making sure that you're hitting your ranges, making sure that you are submitting everything for legality to confirm that it is legal. It literally never hurts to submit something for legality. The worst case scenario is you find out that it's illegal and you have to make a change, which is way better to find out before you get a deduction. The best case scenario is you have a legal ruling, and if you ever get a deduction, you can then say, haha, I have this legal ruling, right? So submit everything, count everything, confirm those things, make sure that things are right before the choreographer leaves, because it's totally possible that we are doing a whole bunch of routines and we wrote down accidentally, we need 8 and we actually needed 9, or maybe we did too many and we can take a couple away. So just know that like you also have a role as a coach, as a gym owner, to submit those things and make sure that you have an absolutely amazing experience. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it was a quick one, but it's just been on my mind as I'm getting ready to do choreography. I hope you all have an amazing choreo season. And with that, we will catch you on the next episode.